me personally, I know the bond, not necessarily the bond that debt put us in, because debt allowed us to grow faster than we would have.
Mm-hmm.
But now when a property goes vacant, you know, it's like, do I want to fix it or do I want to sell it? Well, I want to sell it to recapitalize. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? But also bought that property for 20,000. Now it's worth 200. So you recapitalize real easy. I don't know that real estate will do that. I've got in at a really good time,
Yeah.
but buying it with equity day one helps you out. It's like if you're buying something for 50 or 60 that you can easily sell for 100 to 150. Like the property you are
Yeah.
into right now, the one we did in Mahia, it didn't sell. And then a guy comes forward, he's like, I want to rent it for $2,500 a month, then buy it. So we're like, okay,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, we'll do that. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's like,
Take
we'll
that
yeah, we'll take that
money.
deal.
Mm-hmm.
The other one didn't get a survey. We had a lot line issue, had to buy part of the neighbor's property. Kind of a risky deal, but that deal's a banger. Like it just needs to get settled out and get on the market and it'll sell, right?
Yeah.
But that same property rented out, I mean, that property you're going to sell it for 170.
Mm-hmm.
Um, your basis on it's going to be maybe a little more than 100. So you're going to make a little bit of money on the front side, but if you just own that long term, that thing's going to rent for $1,700, $1,800 a month. It's like, why would you take $100,000? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you make a little bit of money when you can hold on to this asset long term. Does it make sense?
Make a little bit
Depreciation
of money
right
versus
now,
like
right now
S&P.
versus no, it's going to make a little bit of money right now.
Uh-huh.
Versus in the future, you can still always sell it for that 170, or it could go up in value. You can sell it for 225,
Mm-hmm.
but you've got the deeply discounted asset.
Right.
See what I mean? You
And
got
then you
the
have
equity on the
tax
front side,
benefits
and then you got the tax benefits and everything else.
versus like the traditional route of like loaning or whatever. If I loan it or whatever, right? Obviously, loaning would be you wouldn't get a whole lot
I mean,
of money
loaning
back.
is good because if your money's sitting in the bank,
Mm-hmm.
if your money's sitting in the bank, inflation's eating it up,
Mm-hmm.
so it's
Yep.
buying power's going down.
Right.
If it's sitting in the SP 500, not that it's at risk, but when things go bad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Say there's a recession, right?
No. Anytime things go bad, you're like, hey, I want my money.
Yeah.
Well, now your money might be worth less because if you don't have a 20-year horizon on the SP 500, you panic, you get out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You didn't really. Yeah.
Or let's say in 2 years it's only up 10%, right? That's how it's because this year the annual return was like 22% versus the year before
Yeah,
was like
10%, but it's compounding, so
Yeah.
there's a compounding effect. But
Right.
either way, it's like, you look at it and you're like, I should have, pulled some chips off the table. With something that pays you every month, you're just getting paid every month.
yeah.
You get to
Building
do
equity and tax benefits.
with equity and tax benefits. If you want to take that money and put it in the SP 500 so it's compounding, you can do that because you don't need the money. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the tax benefits that will come into when you're a real estate professional, which
Yeah.
you need to get with your CPA to find out the standard to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But you're a real estate professional because you're self-managing and doing the other things that you're required to do, 750 hours a year, whatever it is, working on your real estate. Now you get to take some of that depreciation loss against your active income. You can do cost seg. There's other things you can do, and you own that thing long term. Goes up in value, you're good to go. Worst case scenario, you already said you wanted to buy a house. Well, now you already own one, but you own it free and clear. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, I don't want to live here, but things got really bad, so I moved in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if I buy a house in Granbury, I have a partner, right? So I wouldn't. We can't just get up.
No,
and move to
I'm not.
Granbury
You
or
wouldn't buy that with
anywhere
us. You would buy that
outside
with you.
Dallas.
That's your money. You would buy that with you. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I guess the concern is okay. You buy real estate, right? Your house is or your money is definitely locked up in real estate.
Could be,
more than likely.
but you can't
depends
panic. You can't panic. So
Yeah.
you
So either way, your money is locked up though. But you're
yeah,
getting
but
the tax
the
benefit.
value's stored.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the S&P 500 where you can get emotional and take a loss.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can do that with real estate, I guess.
Oh, you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about leveraging the bank, getting
Yeah,
getting a
like-
loan if you need to,
If
right?
you can always get a loan.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You
Based
want
on
the
the-
money, you can get the loan.
based on
So-
the equity that I have
Yes,
already.
the equity that you have, it's a free and clear house.
That's true. It's a good call.
And then you could also, you know, if you wanted to play both games, you could severely under leverage it. So you take 100, you buy the house. You now got the house free and clear. It's paying cash flow. You want to borrow 60 against it. Any point in time, you go borrow 60 against it. Put the 60 in the SP 500. Or I would day trade. I'd,
Yeah.
I'd catch Tesla on another dip and
Yeah.
go in.
Go.
You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
what I would do. Because it's like if you find one stock you believe in. I mean, my
Yeah.
Tesla stock's doing great.
Same.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I bought it at 145.
Yeah.
I'm only sad I didn't have more money to buy more.
160 for me. It's at what 220 now.
Yeah, it goes up to
Lows?
240, 250
Yeah.
once a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
depending on when you look at it, you're like, damn, I'm doing good.
Yeah. Okay. You put 60K in there, and then
Yeah,
it's all.
I mean, my Roadhouse stock's doing amazing too.
But-
I got in at less than 100.
All right, I'm gonna switch this programming back to.
Ryan Harper, are we live on the internet?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Dang, Ryan, we didn't even do an intro.
We just went live.
We have 0 people watching, so
There's
it's
4 people watching.
is there?
Yeah,
Where do you see that?
right there. Well, now there's 3.
Damn, we lost him.
Yeah, it happens.
Paul's a good-looking man. As soon as we
Yeah,
change him out
does
for
Paul
you,
have-
we lost the
Oh.
lady. We lost the lady.
yeah, well,
Probably his lady.
maybe.
With-
You know,
There he goes.
are
He's
you gonna
on
live switch it, Paul?
live switch what?
Oh yeah.
The voice of God.
The voice of God. Yeah.
So your cost per hour. Hold on, this is brought to you by Zens.
Is it brought to you by Zoom?
Zens pay us some money.
You wish, yeah. No, it. I don't know if I need to share the cost per hour, but I can. I don't care. It's like $37 an hour for billable hour
So this right here, when y'all gonna do post production on this
per person.
per person.
Yeah,
Oh, how many people?
like 8.
Ugh, I don't like this conversation. Can we switch it?
Why? Because you're like fire everyone,
No. I would never want to fire anyone. I would say
sell everything.
First off, this is Ryan Harper. He does all of our video
Howdy.
editing
Yes, I
content.
Yeah,
So he's the reason why our channel went from 2,500 subscribers.
to like 144, I think.
Yeah, whatever it is now. So if you need podcasting, you got to hire Ryan.
Well, not just podcasting, but I really think that what we're doing with you is the route to go, because everybody thinks podcast is played out. It's really not. Just because as you've seen, is the consistency, the dedication, the sticking to it. That's what really wins out. And then also, it's never the content that gets you paid. It's the content that opens the doors to get you paid.
Okay.
So like,
Let's plug our event tonight early in this thing.
Oh yeah.
So
I put it on the thingy, but the title of this video is Random Live. Come out tonight, 10/22.
Yeah, so tonight we're having an event here in Richardson, Texas, 1900 JL Drive.
1900 JL Drive.
So
That's
come out,
correct.
free pizza. We're going to get on the phones. We're going to make the phone ring with 30,000 property records with our own little secret sauce. We'll show y'all here live at the deal.
You like the secret sauce?
And we're going to make it ring people that come out to the event, newbies, experienced people, and we're going to coach y'all through calls where people are really angry that you called them. And we'll see what we can't
I'm
do.
gonna change our thumbnail because I don't like the thumbnail.
Yeah, change the thumbnail. So anyways,
This is how you change a thumbnail on the fly.
on the fly, we will have a new thumbnail here pretty soon. But if you're interested in real estate investing, I've got something that I'm about to do that's near and dear to my heart, Ryan.
Is there anything new, other than Fat Girls and Zen?
I do like Fat Girls and Sin, but we have hold on, let me share this out. We have a guy that's been working for us for a while, and he's been kind of going through the hiring pains of hiring and everything. He finally got some really good guys on his crew, and they're driving home from a job the other day. A lady swerves to miss a deer, hits his guys, kills both of them in a car wreck.
What?
Yeah. So 2 breadwinners for 2 families out. I think one of them has 4 kids. Extremely, I don't know, just kind of shake you up. Like imagine you're the breadwinner of your family, you got 4 kids, and now you're not with them anymore. And this is something that caught my attention when I first heard Grant Cardone talk about real estate, paying your family after you're dead. Really took that seriously. Obviously, we own a lot of rentals. We've done a lot of things. But I feel like we haven't poured into our blue collar community very well. We get outliers that find us through different methods, but we're not able to effectively create a community around it and coach them up to par to where they can take. Because I know guys that make $500,000 a year in the oil field and have all their money sitting in the bank while inflation inflates it away. And should that breadwinner die, that money will go to zero. There might be a life insurance policy. It'll go to zero. Eventually, all that'll be zero, and the family will still have bills. And real estate's a different avenue that if I could go in to those families after that transpires and say, hey, take your life insurance policy, take your cash, buy these cash flowing assets so the money drips back to you. And should you ever need to sell or anything like that, you could leverage them, or you could sell one or two, but you wouldn't take the money to zero. Inflation's not inflating your money away. It's actually making the property values go up. So it's a hedge against inflation. If I could teach these things at scale, I think I would get a lot of gratitude out of it by helping a lot of families. So
Gratitude from whom? The families you help?
yeah, but no, I would just feel like it's like when we're out cleaning up after a tornado. You're helping people. When we go in and clean up after a tornado, we try to go in the areas that obviously don't have insurance or don't have any other way to pay for that cleanup. So we go in and do it for free. But it's just a good feeling to know you're helping people. If we are the I don't want to say we're the face because we're not the face, but if we became the face of
Blue collar?
Yeah, what blue collar men that are out working, that have disposable income, that listen to the 65-year-old that they're still working next to for their retirement advice, which is wild because that's what we all did. There's like a 65-year-old that's still at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're taking retirement advice from him, and he says, save your money. Well, you can't really
say... You're
say...
talking about, what's his face?
No. I'm just talking in general. Like,
okay.
There's some old gray-haired guy on the crew that is giving all of us young guys, because I was in my teens and early 20s when I'm listening to these guys that say, save your money. And you don't need to save your money. Saving your money, a lot of guys, you go through phases where you first get money, you first get paid, and then you spend it all on trucks, women, boats, alcohol, cocaine, all those things.
Paul.
Yeah, Paul. But anyways, you do all of that, and then when you get out of that phase, you finally get into saving money, and you save and save and save and save and save, and the entire time inflation is taking the buying power down.
Joe Biden's America.
Not necessarily Joe Biden's America, anybody's America.
Oh, now I'm the asshole and you're the you're the moderate.
Look, these Zins in 2006 were $1 a can. Now they're $8 a can.
First of all, those are around in 2006?
Allegedly. I'm just telling you.
I thought Zin was a new thing.
I'm just telling you, inflation's
come about?
affecting your savings account. It's not going to do what you think it's going to do. And should something happen to you, whether you get sick, can't work, get injured, can't work, heaven forbid, die, that money's going to zero. You can only...
I just fact-checked you. Zin was first introduced in America in 2014.
Well, there you go. But in 2014, what did it cost? A lot less than $8 a can.
This is true.
So all I'm saying, if you don't want inflation to beat you up, you don't want all these things, you've got to put it into an asset that pays you monthly because your bills come monthly, isn't at risk of political whims, can't be seized by the government. You got your money in a 401k. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I've heard that, that's going to be the next coffers they raise.
Dude, I watched, have you seen the Enron documentary?
I have.
I saw that like a week or two ago, and I was just like, oh, that sucks for all those workers.
It does. You got your money sitting in a 401k. You did the right thing. Or Washington Mutual. And then there's a book called Lost Bank, Washington Mutual.
Lost Bank?
All those people's money was in Washington Mutual stock. What happened to the stock when the bank sold? It went to zero. You didn't expect that to happen. They all started at zero all over again. What's it take to make real estate go to zero? A lot. But in the events that are pushing the value of real estate down, the value of rent's going up. Because now you got more renters in the marketplace. There's all these dynamics that if you sit down and you teach them, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You change a handful of people's life to where they take that disposable income. And I'm not talking about I mean, if y'all are working at McDonald's, good for you. If you're working at Burger King, good for you. Working wherever you're working, good for you. But I'm talking about the people that have made it, that are making $150,000, $200,000 a year, that are doing what the 65-year-old gray hair on the crew told them to do, saving your money, that are putting up your 6% in the 401k because the company matches 6%. Now you're fully vested. You got a $500,000 401k. The stock market goes up 20%. Does your 401k go up 20%? No.
What's funny about what you just said is, like, in today's America, especially with social media, you've got all these like 17, 18, 19-year-old girls. I would never date $200,000 a month, maybe $200,000 a year. He's broke, and I'm like,
she's right. She's right. Look, good for her. I want my daughter to have those standards.
Yeah, but how many men make?
It don't matter. If you can get one, you can get one.
But that's like that's the whole, like, what was that? I want a finance guy, 6'5", blue eyes, whatever.
That's right.
There's only like 45 of them in America, statistically.
Well, Jasper will be there here pretty soon. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Might hit 6'5". He's a big boy.
Finance bro.
We'll make him a finance bro if that's what they need. You know what I mean?
But my point being is, like, the reality is, you know, I used to be like, man, 100 grand was the mark, and my dad was like, do you know how much money 100 grand is? And again, that was like 20 something years ago. But like,
and I was making 100 grand at 18 years old.
Because you were working in the oil fields and you were a badass.
No, here's the thing. I wasn't really making 100 grand. I made 60. But this is a real conversation that happened that steered my life
away from that.
No, back into the oil field. So in high school, they tell you, go to college, right? So what do? If you don't go to college, you're a failure. My dad worked in the oil field his whole life. I decided I was working for a little service company, saving my money to go to college. I trade this car that gets bad gas mileage for a car that gets good gas mileage. Starter goes out on it. I don't even have the money to put a starter on it. Saved my money, paid for college, didn't have any student loans. I'm going to Blinn College down in Bryan, Texas. You know, my friends are going to A&M. Their parents were paying for their college. My parents couldn't pay for my college, but I didn't want to go into student loan debt because debt was bad. That's another thing that I was taught growing up. So I'm paid for my college, but I don't have the money. I got to work a job and go to school, and I don't have the money to replace this starter. Luckily, it was a standard, and it was a Geo Metro, so I could push start it with my foot out the door. I could just put it in reverse, pop the clutch, and get going. So that's what I'm doing. I called my dad to get money to fix the starter. It was going to be like $200 or $300. And he's like, hey, your uncle's looking for a derrick can. Well, we went to dinner. We just happened to go to dinner over at a friend's house, and this guy was graduating college. He was much older than us, but we knew him from our hometown. He had done everything correct that they told him to do. He went to college, got the degree. Now he's got the job of his dreams. He's having to move to Tennessee. And, you know, they're asking him, what's his starting pay? And it's $35,000 a year. Now, at that time, it's probably good money, right? Coming out of college, $35,000 a year. And I hear that number, and I'm like, I made $60,000 last year saving up to go to school. I quit that job to go to school, to get a degree.
To make 35.
To make 35. The math ain't mathin'.
Right.
So I tell Jacob, my current business partner, that when we get home, and he says, hey, what's the top guy out there make? And I said, the guy in the end trailer makes $750 a day. And he's like, why don't you do that? And I said, well, my dad worked in the oil field his whole life. He never got that position. And he said, but what held your dad back? And I'm like, well, my dad liked to drink. He liked to party, liked to smoke weed, and he couldn't regularly pass a drug test. And he goes, you don't have those problems.
Right.
Why don't you go back out there and do that? My dad made $60,000 last year. You made what my dad made. And I was like, mind blown. Instantly called my uncle, got the derrick's job, went back to work in the oil field, never looked back. In 2015, when I was laid off, I was a company man making $1,750 a day. I had all of my goals in front of me, and I met all of my goals, but that was the problem. I didn't have big enough goals, so I was already bored at work. I just had planned out the rest of my life where I'm going to make $12 million. I'm going to save this much of it. I'm going to buy these things. I'm going to have these things. And I didn't really have any purpose. You know what I mean? When you're out there, you're on a team, but it's not.
No, and I get that. And that's amazing. That's a really good, if you can do it, fucking do it.
Anybody can.
Right. But again, $100,000 to $200,000 a year is still a shit ton of money.
It is a shit ton of money. It was a shit ton of money.
But yeah, I think it still is.
It still is a shit ton of money.
Right, but
if you live in the right spot.
But my point is, like, when people, like, because I'm at SMU right now, and you just overhear people talk about when they get out of college, they're going to get a job making $350,000 right out of the bat. And I'm like, maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe they have the connections, because whatever. But I'm like, if you can get out of college, make $85,000, $60,000 a year, you're doing great.
But why even go to college?
That's not the point I'm trying to make.
Like,
I'm just saying the expectations what people have.
Right, but they're going to end up not doing that. They're going to get a job making way less. They're going to be burdened by the student loans.
Definitely.
And they're going to end up in this weird, funky existence where they're working to service a student loan.
But I think you have a bias against college.
I don't have a bias against college. The people that you're talking about that are going to come out making $300,000 a year, they exist in every college known to man.
Absolutely.
And maybe it's the connections, maybe it's the grades they make, maybe it's the effort they put in.
It's most likely the industry.
It could be the individual. Could be that they crush it in college and they are just exceptional. If you need to do that, to go do that. But the people that are going to college, most people go to college, drink, make connections, make lifelong friends. I got lifelong friends when I was down there. I lived down there 8 years.
Right.
All of those people are invested in our real estate. Thank you guys if you're watching. Huge friends, but their parents paid cash for their college. They didn't come out with the student loans.
Right.
They were the higher echelon of people that took college somewhat serious. They made good enough grades. They got the job they wanted. They're all doing well in life. You have to want to do that. But if you're scraping by, if you're a guy like me that has to work to go to college, you could become a septic installer, a plumber, an electrician.
Well, it all comes down to why are you doing it and what industry you're trying to do.
Maybe. But even then, I mean, does anybody that works here need a college degree?
No.
Anybody? Paul?
Actually, the funny story about that is
Definitely not.
The last hire we were going for was a junior editor. And I came across this young woman who just finished college, and I liked her portfolio. And I was like, man, I like this person a lot. Let's bring her in. And then she immediately hit me back with, oh, I just saw the starting salary. Do you know how many positions for more experienced with a college degree? And I'm like, in Joe Biden America, also, you have no experience. That's cool that you went to college, and that's cool that you know what you're doing, but you have no professional experience.
Now it sounds like it's you that don't like college.
I'm not arguing with you.
You didn't get to hire the editor you wanted when there's a kid in Groesbeck High School right now doing bomb-ass edits. That could come to work in here and would love it for that salary
I
that
will
you're talking
say, in film, I don't recommend going to college unless...
I agree.
That's just my personal opinion. Unless you... the only reason to go to college is like maybe a profession like medical or something.
Or for the connections.
I don't think... First of all, I'm not disagreeing
Even connections, I don't know, maybe.
I'm not disagreeing with anything you said.
Dude, the connections are so good, though.
For college.
That you make it college.
That's the whole... So I'm going to SMU right now for an MBA program, an executive MBA, and I always tell people I'm going for the SMU, not the MBA.
I don't even know what an MBA is. Is that where you play basketball? No? I don't know.
Clip that. Just somebody clip that. That's amazing.
I don't know what it is. Like, these are just initials that mean nothing to me. The only thing I can say is we've had 2 kids come to work for us that dropped out of college. Okay? Both of them have made over $100,000 a year working for us. They've done extremely well. They have no glass ceiling over their heads. They have sales skills that will carry them through the rest of their life, no matter what industry they want to get in. They could go to work for almost anybody and sell almost anything with the skill set we gave them on the phones, bar none. Okay. Would they choose to go back to college like you have at an older point in time whenever it's worth it? Probably, maybe. But you're going to go for the connections.
Yes.
The knowledge base, it's like if I want to learn about the First World War, Second World War, if I want to learn about biogenetics, any of that stuff, I can do that right now on my own.
So here's a perfect example of for me at least. Are you familiar with like the old Parkland offices?
No.
So Old Parkland is an old hospital in Dallas that, that's where JFK died.
Oh.
Anyway.
Bro's brain was there for a while.
What's that?
His brain.
Correct.
Somebody stole it. They can't find it.
Anyway, but it for like the last 20 years, it was just delinquent. It sat there. Mm-hmm. It was just, because it's over 100-year-old property, right? Well, Trammell Crow purchased that, and then they turned that into their campus. And
What's a Trimwell Crow?
Trimble Crow is like one of the biggest real estate
Okay.
funds in the world.
Okay.
Anyway, I had a meeting there a couple weeks ago, and I thought I knew Rich. I thought I've seen wealthy. You see money all the time. Like, I mean, we know Rich, whatever. That's Illuminati Rich. Like, cause those offices, like, it's like those old Skull and Bones, even their little canteen.
Do you still have your butt virgin?
What? I've never been to a Diddy party.
I mean, it sounds like you went to one when you walked in there.
I wish I would have, man. Then maybe I would have walked out a little bit richer. No, but clip that too. No, but it was just like. But the only reason that meeting took place was from a connection that I made at SMU.
Well, and
so, but anyway, it opens that door.
Now you got to put somebody with some sales skills on it to close the deal.
I'm working on it.
You need the sales skills.
Oh, I know.
How many times have you followed up with them since then?
Oh, a lot.
How much?
Well, we're going to start a podcast together.
So you did get the deal.
Well, no, he's got a startup, but I'm going to use him to hopefully open the door to other. Not use. I'm going to work with him. To hopefully
use
open
him.
The door
You said it right.
to get into that world.
I will
So
say,
a loss leader.
If you're
Yes.
going to college for connections, you got to be the right type of person to go out and get those connections as well. If you're just going to sit at home and do nothing, then college is a waste.
I totally agree with that because, like, I see my personality versus the other people in my cohort, and they're always surprised that I know, like, everybody on campus or whatever. And it's because I talk to everybody, I connect with everybody, LinkedIn, etc. And they're always like, "How do you know that guy? How do you know that guy?" It's like, because I talk to them.
Do you talk to him?
I try.
Well, I would say, but getting back to what we're going to do for the blue collar community.
Yeah. What's this mastermind that you hate women about? See how nervous he got right that? Why don't you plug it and see what happens? Let's see how quickly we get booted off the internet.
Well, we're down to 2 viewers now because of that. But no, there's not to me, pouring into blue collar men, teaching them this, getting them to a point to where they can work their job, put their money in a better place than the bank or their 401k, is like going to be one of my core missions. So the community that Pace has created around Sub 2, it's got its own. It's got a lot of haters. A lot of my friends hate it. They hate that.
Do you think it's a jealousy thing or what?
I think it's any time you do anything at scale. So if you teach anything at scale, you've got a bunch of, can we say retards? I guess retards that come into the space. They don't understand it. They don't grasp it. You got a bunch of con artists and people like that'll gravitate towards it and find the way that, I can rip somebody off here. I can rip somebody off there. Mm-hmm. And so they go out and they execute that strategy, and they're putting people in a precarious situation because they don't understand everything about it. And because the way negativity works is that's all you see is the bad, right? You see the sub twos that go bad that the seller is now on the hook for. Guy made a post in Roughneck Real Estate the other day, took a $3 million sub two somewhere in Florida. Insurance won't pay him. Hurricane Milton came through, did the sub two, didn't do the insurance properly. Insurance won't pay him. He's about to walk away from that loan. And he posted about it in R2R. Well, you can imagine how the comments lit him up in that.
Because he's just screwing over the original homeowner.
The original homeowner is going to get foreclosed on. The bank's in a precarious situation. All because the insurance, when you do a sub 2, can be done wrong. And
right.
Apparently he did it wrong. And so he didn't have coverage. They found a poop hole loophole to get in his...
Loophole. Never heard that before.
Well, it's a...
Well,
you should Google it.
I definitely don't want to Google that.
They found a poop hole loophole to get in the rear exit of him, and now he's on the hook, and he needs to repair the property. Now, I don't know if he uses it for Airbnb. I don't know if it's a personal residence. I have no idea what he's doing with the property. But I do know this, the original sellers that he committed with, I guarantee you his paperwork, if he closed with anybody that does sub-2s, they're going to have to sue him to get any retribution, and they're going to get a judgment. What's that worth? He can file bankruptcy, wipe that off. Probably did it in LLC, so he could just defunct that LLC. I mean, he will come out of it all right. The seller will not. That kind of stuff is what the sub 2 community kind of makes the news or makes the deal for, and I think that's where most of the hate comes from.
Yeah, I could see, like, I'm not in it enough to know what all is going on. I'll just say that, like, it was 5 years of my real estate career before I even attempted a sub 2, and that was with Daniel.
Right.
And I was still going. There was like a 30-page contract that we got from Scott Horn.
Yeah, well, Scott's good. You know,
right? That's what I'm saying. But it's just like, and just my point to that is, and I'm not saying I'm smart or anything. I'm not at all. But like 5 years of experience of doing contracts all the fucking time, and then you've got this 30-page contract that's completely different, and then you have a whole other new people getting into the business starting with this.
Right.
Now, that may be, they may be able to do that. They maybe not. I don't know. I'm not stating on that. I'm just saying for me, I'm like, I can't imagine starting with that.
It depends on the person. So the guy that's working at McDonald's that has no cash reserves, he needs to figure out how to wholesale to get his cash reserves up, because the strategy that is taught through that community is to hold them as rentals. It's a great strategy. I mean, even on a low equity deal, if you can hold it as a rental and you have enough cash reserves to float the repairs, you got a low interest rate. You know, is there risk? Absolutely. Do you need to be able to pay it off if something happens? You need to have access to capital to where you can structure a deal to be able to pay it off. But if it is something where the bank calls the note due, and you can't do that, I think that's where the community actually helps out, because somebody will probably step in and take that asset off your hands. But it's a community, you know, and the people that are in there that are crushing it with this strategy, you know, I had a guy get on. Well, I was beefing with a guy on the internet. You're not going to believe this.
You beefing with somebody?
I was beefing with a guy on the internet. Another guy come swinging into my DMs in this guy's defense, jumped on the comment section, got murdered. But that when I ended up on the phone with his boss / coach, whatever he was, that said, "Hey, quit shitting on this dude," I was like, I'm not even shitting on this dude. I was talking about this other guy, and this guy's now defending his lover or whatever this other guy is to him. You know what I mean? I don't even know this guy. And he tells me, he goes, well, he got by another guy, and he got like 20 low equity sub 2s, and now he's blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, if you got low equity sub 2s, low interest rate, and you can't keep them rented, these should be premium assets. You should be buying 3-2 brick in a good area. These are sub 2s. I mean, you don't have to take junk. You can, there's somebody that needs to sell that has no equity. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. You should be able to take them over, keep them rented, and operate that real estate. But if you don't have proper cash reserves, then you can't. So now you're in a situation where, you know, maybe you do feel like he fucked you, but really you fucked you by not having cash reserves, because he couldn't sell the properties because he didn't have any equity, right? Which was the original problem that the homeowner had. That's how they became a motivated seller. So he was shitting on Pace in that scenario, and I told him, I was like, look, this guy here that is talking shit about me in my comment section, he's talking shit to you about his previous guru. He's going to be talking shit about you when this doesn't work out. Well, guess what's happening now? They're suing each other. And this other guy, he teaches credit.
I'm so lost. I don't know who's suing who.
The guy is suing his guru that I was on the phone with, his new guru. So he paid a new guru.
Who is his? The guy.
The dude that I was beefing.
Well, you mentioned Pace a second.
Not Pace.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Pace taught this guy sub 2 first.
Got it. And then that
he got himself in a bind with sub 2, so he jumped to land. Once he jumped to land, you know what I mean? It's got its own problems.
Yeah. Well, every industry has problems.
Land didn't work out for him, so now he's beefing with the land guru that he hired to teach him land, and they're suing each other. And it's all over my news feed, or was for a little while, but this guy also teaches credit hacking, which looks like fraud to me. Have you heard of this?
I can't. Please share.
Okay,
highlights.
So Paul, how much money do you have that you're looking to put to work?
I got $110K that I want to give to Corey Thompson.
We'll find a spot for it. So this is what a credit.
Shouldn't we get paid back on the first investment?
Yes. So This is what a credit hacking person would tell Paul if he came to him with this opportunity. He'd say, "Oh, great. Let's go to this bank. We'll put your money in my bank account, our bank account. I don't know how that works, but we'll put your money over here, okay? And we will borrow money against your money.
Okay.
And then we'll send you your money back. Because we'll show cash reserves for a minute, borrow money, and then we'll send you your money back." But Paul's also on the note with us because Paul's got good credit. You know what I mean?
That like sounds very similar to something like if you replace the guy with a Nigerian prince.
Yes,
that's what it sounds like.
And then there's this other thing, and I learned about this watching car YouTube, where you add people as authorized users on, like, so I'm going to buy
a credit card.
I'm going to buy a car, right? And my credit stinks. I don't have enough open lines of credit that are high enough.
Right.
I can go to you. You got, $200,000 worth of credit cards that you don't use.
Right.
And I can say, hey, add me as an authorized user to all those cards. And now it shows that I have $200,000 in open lines of credit. My credit apparently shoots up instantly. And so there was car dealerships that were doing this for people that were buying cars. All this weird stuff that's out there. That is just foul. It doesn't seem, it seems like there's a law in place to keep this stuff from happening. I don't know the law, so I would assume illegal. It sounds pretty foul. You know what I mean? If you're doing it with your parents or, somebody you're kin to or somebody you're friends with,
some sort of
established relationship that seems whatever, but just to go to the internet and ask for these things. And these guys would do it. These guys with the big credit lines, they would do it and they would get paid 10 grand or something. You know what I mean, to do it, and it's like this doesn't seem.
It just sounds like you're about to lose all your money.
It sounds
and your credit,
and maybe go to jail.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know about that. I'm just thinking the Nigerian prince thing.
So, go ahead.
I'd like to touch on kind of this blue collar thing, right? So I think what we were talking about earlier is really important. So I would say the traditional route, you've got $100K in the bank, right? And I could buy a house for $400K in Dallas, right? 20% down, $80K, right?
You have to live somewhere. You have to live somewhere.
Okay, let's say, and then you have other savings, right? Mm-hmm. So you can cover the cost for any other things that pop up, right? So that's a hypothetical situation. That's the traditional route. Is you would go buy the house and in Dallas. And now you're a proud American homeowner. Now, what you were saying was, maybe don't do that, right?
I wouldn't. That's what I said. Because, look, should you want to move out of Dallas in the next, 3 years, you get a better opportunity, you start having kids, maybe it's just not working out. Maybe you buy into the neighborhood and then you get there and you realize this living here actually isn't as cool as I thought. You're going to have to take a hit if you sell that house within the first probably 5 or 6 years, right? Homeownership.
What's that movie that Tom Hanks is in where he buys that shitty house in the 80s?
Money Pit.
So if you do that, if you're looking at living there 20 years, you'll be fine. Everything will be okay. But if you get there and for whatever reason you got to leave, you're gonna that 100,000 is gonna come back to you as 80. Now, the fact that quote unquote you're throwing rent away is real, but I would say that if I had $100,000, I'd put it into a cash flowing asset with equity day one. I would find an off market real estate deal, pay cash for it, own it cash. In the future, if you wanted to borrow against those, you could borrow against them. It's going to hedge your money against inflation. It won't hold your balance sheet back because you own 2 free and clear houses that you bought at a steep discount. That's the part that misses. A lot of people would just go to MLS and buy one at retail, not near as good as the deal as getting some off-market deal. And I would get in a tertiary market in the path of progress of this metroplex that's sprawling out all over the place. So hopefully you get some appreciation. That would be the move I would make. Rent them out, get the tax benefits of owning a rental. If you need the money into the future, you'll still be able to sell the houses. It's really hard to take real estate to zero. You still be able to sell those. You bought them with equity day one, so your money won't come back to you as 80. It'll come back to you as hopefully something much higher. And You can always leverage those assets should you want to put that money down on another house, and now you've got the cash flowing assets still with equity, because you don't have to borrow 80% of what they're worth. You can borrow 50% of what they're worth. So that's what I would do. I mean, if I had all the money I made in the oil field back to me tomorrow, and I did do a good job with some of my money. I bought a house on 32 acres, owned it free and clear, had a house on 60 acres, owned it at probably 30% of loan value. I had equipment that did very well, as far as I bought it off of eBay in states where the emissions were getting outlawed, so I got good deals on it. I was able to sell all that equipment when I wanted to and make money. I did some things right, but I had a lot of money in savings, and I shouldn't have had a lot of money in savings. I should have been going to the tax sale every auction and picking up a new house for $2 or $3 grand and land banking that money there. Even if I didn't put a tenant in that house, even if I didn't do anything with it, I could have fixed it up later and sold it. I should have been land banking my money that I was earning in the oil field into land, houses, tax sale properties, foreclosures on the courthouse step, auction.com homes, et cetera, et cetera. Now, in all of those spaces now, the hedge funds have came in, real money's after those assets. So maybe not as good of a deal, but you can still find them. We still go to tax sale auctions. Sometimes half the world's there. Sometimes we're the only people there. Really depends on what's on the auction. But those little $10,000 and $12,000 houses still sell every month on the tax sale all around the state of Texas. 6-month right of redemption. They're going to be an absolute shithole because they've probably been sitting vacant 8 or 10 years. But at the end of that, you're going to have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in that asset. It's going to rent for $1,200 a month. You're going to be doing really well.
I think finding foreclosures is something that's maybe a little bit difficult for the layman. So if I'm a layman, as far as playing the devil's advocate, okay, Corey, that sounds like a great idea, but what if it's real estate, so isn't my money locked up in those houses for a couple of years, and then what if my partner has enough savings where we get pre-approved and for a loan for a house, and we want to buy a house in a nice neighborhood in Dallas. What do you propose to do then?
Well, I mean, I hope you're not talking about you, but if my partner was telling me we're going to buy a house, I would be telling her not,
or him,
or
him,
or I mean,
in between.
Look, I'm too old school. Like, my partner's not going to talk me into buying a house. Okay.
I wouldn't say talking in a house. Let's just say it's just an idea. Like, hey, why don't we buy a house somewhere in here? But yeah,
I would tell her, you're along for the ride, sweetheart. You're riding shotgun. I'm driving. So we're gonna go buy these tax sale properties.
Keep those properties in real estate.
Paul, you're a beta male and Corey is an alpha male.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's what he's saying. He says, "Woman, you will do what I say to do. I will do. I'm a wolf, and you are the fawn.
No,
wolf gotta eat, fawn gotta graze.
No,
I don't know what that means, but whatever.
My lady has a lot of money in the bank. Okay, she works and has saved that money. Okay, she saves her money. She's got it put up, right? Doesn't affect me. Doesn't have a lot to do with me. You know what I mean? She can do whatever she wants with her money. But my money, no.
I thought the rule of thumb was like, her money is her money, your money is our money.
No, nope.
That's when you're married.
Not happening. She wants to do all that. I'll support her 110%. That's hers. Do whatever you want with it, sweetie. But mine, no, we're gonna do this over here with mine, because ultimately, owning a house, I own the house that I live in. It's not a nice house. We're about to have to convert a little porch into another bedroom, right? It's not a nice house. I got a soft spot in the floor, trying to get guys over to brace it up right now. Like, literally, guys showed up yesterday, couldn't get in. I was pissed.
Not gonna move into the lake house?
Not going to move into the lake house. The lake house, is a great example of a land bank, because the lake house, we bought it at a discount. Okay. somewhat services its own carrying costs, really doesn't. But we have 5 owners on it that get to enjoy the lake house, get the depreciation, get all the tax benefits of owning the lake house, but also get to enjoy it. Okay. And now that lake house is worth $650,000, we paid $300,000 for it.
And you also Airbnb it out.
And we Airbnb it out, so it covers most of its carrying cost, right? It's a great lake house. There this weekend, had a phenomenal time. But overall, no, I'm not gonna. I don't have any plans to move in there. I have, if I want a lake house, I'll go buy my own lake house when I can pay cash for it.
Have you read Sam Walton's book?
I need to read it. What's it called?
I'm listening to it.
This is
right
the guy
now.
that made Walmart.
Walmart, yeah.
Yeah. So,
But the cool thing, I mean, I'm still early in the book, but it's Walmart didn't start till it was like 44.
yeah.
But I mean, but he had years of other experience. That
Yeah,
led
and I'm
up to it.
40, so I'm gonna start Walmart for the blue collar community
yeah.
here pretty soon. It's something that we need to do. You've talked to me about education,
But I brought it
forever.
up only because like how the hard work aspect of it and just really working it and then living like just a modest lifestyle. Like even though they had private jets, he was really resistant to that. You know?
I mean, I don't know. I'll probably always live quote unquote a modest lifestyle while I drive around in an F-350 Platinum.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's rubbing on my ass the whole time I'm driving it. But
What does that mean to rub on your ass?
it's got massage seats, so it's rubbing on my ass while I drive.
So you have a bougie truck. Got
I
it.
do have a bougie truck, but I think kids change everything for you. So you get so much from your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get to live so vicariously through their smiles and stuff, and then stuff really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Experiencing going to the Grand Canyon and doing all that stuff. Really great with kids. They enjoy the shit out of it. But I've already seen the Grand Canyon, but I'll go back every year as long as they want to. You know what I mean? There are things that people, I think too many people put too much value on things and stuff. And, I value my friends. I value my family. I value my kids. You know what I mean? I enjoy their experiences. Emory's in softball. Huge financial commitment to have a softball player that's not, I tried to explain to her the valuetainment thing. There's interested, committed, and obsessed. We're not at obsessed with softball with her. We're at committed. She'll do anything she's asked, but she's not obsessed. She's not out there throwing the ball in the yard every day. But as long as she's interested in it, I'll be there every weekend. I'll be here. Be somewhere in the Metroplex this weekend, sitting out in the sun, or maybe it's cold. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. Being an energy vampire, living vicariously through her experiences. At the same time with a 4-year-old that's going absolutely insane somewhere, throwing rocks at other kids, starting fights, doing other things.
Corey, if you didn't have kids, what would you be spending your time?
I'd be chasing whores. I'd be.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of horse, actually, it's not speaking of horse, but we do have a question from the internet.
Let's go.
This is from Retro Wave Universe. That's the
Okay.
username.
Okay.
I got a question. It's about immigration. Is legal immigration of skilled workers and international students graduating then settling by getting a job okay versus hordes of zombies entering through the South?
Okay. This is a good one. I don't know. Here's what I will say. We went to Home Depot. I won't say where, and we picked up some of the Joe Biden fellas because we were doing a clean out. And I did not know when we were picking up the Joe Biden fellas what I was getting myself into. They were just sitting out there. I was like, hey, are y'all looking for work? They're like, we know habla inglés. I get Braxton on the phone with them. So I got what I think is one car with one human in it, but now I've got 2 cars with a bunch of humans in it following me. Now I'm going to where my fellas are, right? So I'm not by myself.
Mm-hmm.
We're all strapped. We have guns.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, you know what? The hordes of zombies, I'm like, I didn't do a very good job of vetting these fellas, and I didn't even make sure that I was only getting one fella. You know what I mean? So now I've got a bunch of fellas following me to the middle of nowhere to do a house clean out. They could just be going to put a gun to my head and rob me. You know what I mean? So we get there. There was only 3 of them. One of them was female. And the guy and the girl flamed out pretty quick. They didn't want to weed eat. They didn't want to do the things. The other guy worked with us to the end. So I gave him the money and I said, they'd already left, the other two. I said, give it to your homies if you want. Keep it all for yourself if you want. I don't care. But, they aren't very skilled laborers. They weren't very skilled humans. They didn't want to work very hard.
Really?
The one fella did. But
Back in the day when we would get the
fellas.
the fellas at like the day labor
Home Depot
camps,
fellas?
whatever. Yeah, like just on the corner. Every city's got a corner.
No.
They'd work their ass off.
Dude,
digging trenches, 120-degree heat, all of it.
When I found the getting spot in Bryan for fellas, we sodded my backyard, me and them, and it was cold beer. And at the end of the day, I was like, "How much?" And they're like $20 each of them. I was like, "No, here's $100 each." But either way, having a vetting process to get people that you make sure want to work, want to be here, want to, do good things is great. But at the end of the day, how old are you?
43.
How many kids you got?
0.
So immigration is going to have to be a part of our life. What about you, Paul? How old are you?
30.
How many kids you got?
0.
So this is the problem. Y'all aren't having kids, so we're going to have immigration to have, there's a great book out there. It's called Accidental Superpower, and who fights the wars? You were in the Marines.
Yep.
How old were you?
18.
Right. How old were you when you got out?
24.
Right. I worked in the oil field, did all the manual labor through my 20s all the way into my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who does the manual labor? I mean, old men are still out there doing it too, but, pretty evident that you need 20-year-olds to build stuff if you want to buy stuff. The boomers are all in their fucking twilight. They got all trillions of dollars in their savings or 401ks. They're out there spending it, but somebody's got to make it.
I just saw a study on this, and it was, I didn't understand the impact. Well, I understand the impact, but it was basically, this is the first time in human history where 30% of the population is not necessarily working population.
Yeah, no. I mean,
because usually you would die before you got, you worked all your life, and then you had a couple years, and then you're dead.
Yeah.
No, now you've got these twilight years.
Whatever the twilight years are, but they, the boomers have all the wealth. The millennials are somewhat catching up, and Gen Z is too lazy and stupid to go out and do anything to actually work. So you have this situation where if you want working humans, you're going to have to import them, making sure that they want to work, and that's why they want to come here is probably a good thing. Make sure they're not criminals, or whatever is probably a good thing. But if people like you, Ryan, aren't going to have kids,
I'd love to have kids, but I can't find me a lady.
Just, what a cream pie is. Just make it happen, Captain. Baby mama one of these ladies.
I got to get one of them ladies first.
Yeah. So, anyways,
anyway, he followed up by saying, "I asked the question because I studied, worked, and lived in the USA for 8 years, and unfortunately had to come back." Where he lived before, because there's a backlog of visa applications from his country, unfortunately.
So this guy came here, worked, paid taxes, and got sent back.
Because there's a backlog because of the migrant crisis.
And the Home Depot fellows that couldn't even make a day of weed eating.
Right. You've got somebody who went to college. He's got the experience. He is the person that you want, but he can't get in because of the other backlogs because of the crisis.
That's an insane immigration policy. But,
thanks, Obama.
Biden, Kamala, whoever. But either way,
I still don't know which one's right, Kamala or Kamala or Kamala. Ooh.
So, anyways, they I mean, look, this situation is, I mean, it's very real. Like, in that book, the only populations that are breeding.
What's the book again?
It's called Accidental Superpower. The only people that are breeding are South Americans, Mexicans, and Muslims. Everybody else took time off. So those are the people that got an abundant supply of 20-year-olds. And 20-year-olds are what, fight wars, build countries, do all this sort of stuff. So, yeah.
That's another thing that's insane to me is the fact that, like, you have so many, like, especially in the Middle East, that will immigrate or migrate everywhere else because they hate where they're coming from.
Maybe.
but then they go to the other countries and they bring what. It's the same thing with the Californians coming to Texas.
This is
Don't-
racist.
How is it racist?
Boy,
I'm not talking about race.
I don't know.
Okay, let's talk about California. Don't California mind Texas?
They don't. Every Californian I met is the biggest Trump fan I ever met. It's
Yeah, but
Paul
you-
that's voting for Kamala.
Paul doesn't vote.
Paul, you voting?
He's a
Hell no.
creative.
Paul, vote.
People in the
Vote.
film world don't vote.
Oh,
I'm voting for RFK.
He's not running anymore.
Shit.
Besides, you're only voting him because you met him.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
You would have voted for Vivek, but he's out too.
Yeah, I would have voted for Vivek.
Vivek is good.
I like Vivek.
He's a strong guy. Some of that stuff you were saying earlier, I don't know if you'd appreciate it though.
Which part?
That part about him not assimilating, he brought his religion here.
Who you're bringing up religion? I think he is assimilated. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I
Besides,
don't wanna talk
also,
about it.
I'm pretty sure he was born in America.
Well, just the way you said America sounded racist.
Don't throw your
America.
don't throw your racism with your hard R's on me, boy.
I got an N-word pass. It was given to me by a dear friend. I haven't used it
I
yet.
don't think there is such a thing as a pass.
I have an N-word pass.
No, you don't.
I haven't used it yet.
You know what? That's not
It's
a thing.
It's either going to come out during traffic.
Try it out.
It's either going to come
Try
out.
it out right here on the line.
It's either going to come
Please
out
don't.
during traffic or a good karaoke sesh.
There's
Is there
no.
like a piece of paper or?
Yeah, I got it. Look,
Let's see how that. Let's see how,
you can scroll back in the footage and see
there
where
is
I have
no
it.
such thing. There's no such thing as a pass.
I have it.
I
It was
don't-
given to me by a dear friend.
It doesn't work that way.
Telling you, it's coming out during traffic or a good karaoke
Hey, double
sesh.
tap on the screen. Double tap hard. Hey, chat is the. I don't know what do they do on the TikTok?
Does the N-word pass exist?
No, it does not.
It does.
It does not
It
exist.
does. I'm telling you, it does.
You either use it or you don't use it. There's no pass to use
I
it.
have an N-word pass. I have one. I haven't used it yet, but traffic or karaoke, it will come out. So, anyways,
Well, we got another our retrowave universe
yeah,
more because he's the only one.
I like
bantering.
this guy.
I like him too.
could be a
Assuming
lady.
it could be a lady. Yeah. For multiculturalism to work, the premise is every culture respects the other, but there are cultures out there which says that my culture is better than yours, especially the Middle Eastern ones.
yeah. I mean, that's what you were getting at, Ryan. That's what you were trying to say. He's just eloquent in
guy
his
is so
explanation. You know what I mean?
He's more eloquent.
And
No, all
English
I'm-
ain't even his first language.
You don't know that.
I don't know that.
He didn't say that because maybe he's from UK or
Name another one.
Israel. Yeah, you're right.
The UK,
Europeans.
Canada.
He's right.
Australia?
Though. Retrowave. Where are you from? And are you a dude or a female?
Yeah,
We need to know your. Was it ASL? What is that from back in the day? What's your ASL?
ASL. So,
Age,
anyways,
sex, and location.
we
India.
India. See,
He's a dude.
Vivek.
It is Soho.
Vivek.
It's
Our guy Vivek.
it's a dude from India.
Is it Sohail for real? Did Sohail get deported?
28 male. He ASL'd us.
So,
28 male dude from India.
well, you can't come to our meetup tonight, but if you were near Richardson, you'd come to 1900 JL Drive
There
and
you
hang out
go.
with us in person. But
Yeah, it'd be funny if what was that a couple years many years ago in Garland where they had the Muhammad thing and then terrorists tried to come out and they smoked them real quick
I think it was the FBI. I think,
as a plant.
I think what you're thinking of, it was the FBI. I don't know that, but
Wow.
that's what I seem to remember about it. But either way, yeah. So I think what he's saying about immigration is correct, and I think he said it much more eloquently than your America stance.
What? Don't make me out to be a racist. I'm not racist. I have had friends in the past.
That we're Muslim.
Yes.
Okay, all right, whatever. I don't know.
I actually think Muslims are actually much more.
Okay, here we go.
No, because I live in the Middle East.
Think about
right?
it. Yeah, think.
And I'm just saying, it's like if I was thirsty, hungry, or in need, and I showed up at somebody's front door, they would help me out. They would feed me, they would clothe me, they'd wash me, they'd give me water and send me on my way. They might later kill me, but at least at their front door, they were very polite. Now, in America, you see homeless people all the time that get jack shit from anybody.
Oh no, I gave a homeless guy $5 the other day. Yeah, I hope his 40 that he bought with it. I hope he enjoyed it. I don't even know if you can get a 40 for $5 anymore now that we think about it with inflation. So maybe I got him half a 40. Got him halfway there.
Halfway
got him at
there.
least a fucking 16 ouncer in a
So,
bag.
you want to talk about TikTok Shop?
No, not really. What do we got to talk about on there?
Nothing.
Oh, no.
Just
What I really just, I mean, this has been good, Ryan. I've had a good time. I just really want to tell the people to come out. You know what I mean?
I thought we
come
were
see
still
us.
talking. Okay, fine.
But you want to keep talking?
no, I mean, we're already in too deep. You're a racist
I am not.
and a sexist.
I have the pass. You can
There's
scroll
no
back in the
such-
footage.
there's
Go
no
watch
such
the other.
thing.
Go watch the other videos. You'll see it when it was given to me. I have not used it yet.
I appreciate all cultures, sexes, religions, and everything's.
Women can't drive.
But which heritage of women?
Look, there's a Tosh.0 joke that talks about retard strength
Okay.
and how strong chimpanzees are.
Okay.
So if you see a retarded chimp, you head the other way.
Okay.
The same thing with Asian women.
When it comes to driving.
You got to just park somewhere safe until it clears out. So
What's funny is you finally want to end the stream, and we're finally getting people to engage and watch.
oh no, I mean, look, we can keep going. What? I need more comments though. This guy in India. What time is it even in India? Bro's up late.
I don't know. Maybe he just attracted to
Yeah, I mean,
hard R's and oh.
oh,
I thought he
Paul,
would dropped it.
He's
3:17 a.m.
He's either up early or stayed up late. But thanks for being here.
Yeah.
What else, Ryan? What? How can you help these good people out? Content.
So my bias is always media. Like
Yeah.
the more content you do, the better. Some content's better than others. Like maybe dropping, first of all, okay, never mind. Saying illicit things like all the racism and sexism that you dropped earlier, maybe it's not the best or most appropriate thing to put on the internet. But I do feel video solves all business problems.
What? I can't believe you're throwing me under the bus like that. Saying I said those things. I didn't say those things.
Who's driving the bus though?
I didn't say those things. But
No, but so like if you're trying to raise capital, video can help. If you're trying to get sales, video can help. You need to train your staff, video can help. So whatever you're struggling with, video can help. And at the same time, we also live in this economy where money's rough. Everybody's got a cell phone. So I do believe, yes, if you can do a cell phone, do a cell phone. But my personal belief is if you're trying to go for a higher client, you need to have better content. You need to have professional content.
just from a personal perspective, if I've got somebody big that I want to interview, I got the studio to walk into an interview.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you also have a personal videographer to be
yeah.
with you all.
Yeah.
First of all, where the F is he? Why isn't he with you right now?
I had to come up here and look at we did a jet loan up in
Okay.
Van Alstyne. I had to come look at it.
Okay.
Because he needed a draw. So I left from the house. Him and Braxton, so tonight we're doing live calls
Right.
at this event. So we tested it out the other day to see how our setup would work. Mm-hmm. And we put Brenton on the phone taking calls because we were on that live from.
Yeah, and he was
the
like, "I
computer.
love you."
Yes. So anyways, he got one later on in the day after the video ended. He actually got one locked up. It's a 3-2 brick on 2 acres,
And is it
$90,000.
Van Alstyne,
No. Out. Well, I ain't gonna say where, but
the snakes.
no, in one of our honey holes. And so they're locking it up for $90K today. They had to go look at it, so they drove over there to look at that, and I drove to Van Alstyne. So they'll be up here after that. But,
Okay,
but
that's a good enough reason not to be filming you.
well,
deal,
yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna ask him. Logistically, I'd have had to go on to Waco and picked him up, and I didn't want to.
Right.
I want to leave straight from home and go to Van Alstyne. So I was going to ask him to ride up so we could walk that property. I'm so glad we didn't. I'm so glad it would have been like 2-3 hours of driving, whatever it was, for 2 minutes of video.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was going to be some conflict, maybe some anger, but there wasn't. The guy
Yeah.
wasn't mad at me. I thought he was mad at me.
Who could stay mad at you?
Well, if he was mad at me, it would have been great to have the content because it'd be like
maybe you should try out that
couple of rednecks
that
urinating.
pass that you so-called have.
No, it had been a couple of rednecks yelling at each other, just calling each other stupid. But no, Robert's cool, so he wasn't mad.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask him to come film and then maybe drive by a property that we haven't seen yet that we've owned for 3 years. Because we're kind of in the area.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Going back to the content stuff, it's like, you take what Pat Hilton's doing, where he's getting people and teach them how to do it with their cell phones. That's great. That's cool. I think everybody should do that.
Now he's shitting on Pat.
How am I
That's
shitting on
one
Pat?
of our non-viewers.
How am I shitting on Pat?
Clip
Tell
that.
me how I'm shitting on him.
Clip that.
I'm not. Okay.
Clip that.
That's what he's going for. So because we're not, in my mind, we're not competitors at all, because I don't want to be the guy that's doing the cell phone stuff. I want to be the guy that's doing hey, we have a $50,000 camera guy over there stuff.
I did see that.
Different business model.
It's a different business model.
But
you're the one that's shitting on him with the hard R's and the hard N's and the hard, all of them.
I have an inward pass. Y'all can rewind the tape, go watch the rest of the channel, fish through the content. You'll see when it was given to me. I have not used it yet.
Danger, was it Danger Will Robertson or whatever it's called?
I'm just telling you. Oh, but I do have merch on the channel.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Double top the heart, get the merch.
You can buy a Roughneck Real Estate shirt if you want to support the content. You can do that.
Yeah. Get some merch.
Maybe we throw an inward pass on the merch. We can't give it out. It's invalid. It's like an unnotarized deed, but it's still there. You know what I mean? You can have it. Just can't
You
use
can
it.
say you could be in code where I've got an pass.
No.
Where the N is hidden in the AN. People are you grammarly messed that up. Be like, okay. And the people that watch it will get it.
Paul.
Yeah.
Do we have any more questions? Could somebody drop a question?
We
in
need
the
more
comment?
flip videos. That's what.
We need more flip videos.
Retrowave, what's your name, dude?
Okay, so flip videos. How do you want us to do a flip video? Because I do have a flip video coming out for the worst flip we've ever done. We have all the footage shot. It's on hold. We put it all on hold.
Yeah.
For other reasons, but it will end up becoming one big flip video by the time. By the time we can release it, we will have a before and after flip video.
I think there's multiple, right? Multiple.
There is, but the problem is we always go out and shoot the content so it comes out like a vlog.
Right.
And then we go back to it when it's finished, so we don't never merge the two. I mean, we did one in Mart, but we've never actually merged the two. I've told Brenton to save them in individual property files, so we could do that into the future when we're not filming. We're just always filming, so there's just always more and more and more. We actually need to go back because we did that trashiest eviction video. Literally hauled off 20 tons of trash. That video's got 20,000 views. Super nasty. The guy that bought that from us is flipping it. So when it hits MLS, we'll be able to go back to it
to
look at it and do a video to see how good of a job he did.
Have you ever seen Big Primetime guy? He's a big old black dude that just tackles deadbeat dads.
Oh, you sent me, yes.
Yeah, he was in the studio this last weekend. We're like, hey guys, y'all should come here and get your ass beat up.
Did they do it?
None of your guys did, no.
Oh, no. I watched him. He's I mean, I thought he just tackles them unsuspectly.
He originally did. Now he kind of sets it up.
Okay.
Because originally he would do the deadbeat dads. He'd find a deadbeat dad, and he would, a mom or somebody would cue him up. So it wasn't it was random to the guy getting lit up, but everybody else was kind of in the know.
Yeah.
I mean, what he told us. And, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine.
I thought we were going to line up with Pats and do an Oklahoma drill.
Well, that's what I said to do. Yeah. I mean, he's done a little of those too. Yeah. But what I told him is if you're getting older, don't want to get hit no more. He's like, no, I want to hit. I was like, all right. But what you could do is almost do the Dana White thing, the slap thing. It just, you tackle him and then he tackles you and then who taps out first.
Oklahoma drill. Just put your hand in the dirt, see who's got what. See who can do what.
Well, he's done a couple of. Anyway, I was a little saddened that nobody on your team want to get the shit kicked out.
No, we don't. We're not in there right now. But
because that would have been fun. So Big Primetime knock out Braxton or something.
Did he answer what
his name was?
No. What kind of flip videos he wants?
He said the before tour, then the plan, then visits at the work going, and then the after.
Okay, we shoot that content. We just don't put it all in one video, so it ends up stringing out.
So what we need to do is just make sure we have a better accounting of, because I think having those individuals is fine.
Yeah.
But then we just need to be better from an editing standpoint. Paul, take note, because I'll forget this. And going, okay, let's
Just
take all those
property
and then
address.
merge them all together.
Yeah, just saving the footage under a property address because it hits as a vlog, and then you can do it
Right.
before and after. But the good, like the planning of what we actually do, like we're gonna put in fucking rustic brick or whatever. We don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
We literally go to the contractor and we're like, we just want this thing livable. Refinish the tubs.
Right. So what we
They
need
pick
to do.
the colors.
So Paul, what we need to do is with Brenton is make sure that when y'all do that, after you film the vlog aspect of it, start back over and then film the long form video of it.
Yeah.
And then because you can do the vlog aspect and just be authentic and be real, like, hey,
Well-
we're going through the first time, but then refilm it right there, knowing that footage won't be still light day for like 3 to 6 months.
Well, we do tell them our plans during all that. We're walking through it saying, hey, we're going to do
but
this.
the way
And
you
then
shoot a vlog is much different than what you should.
and on this particular video that I'm talking about, we actually went into the granite place and picked out the granite
Right.
and argued over granite colors.
Right.
And then
that can be used.
had the ladies that were like completely shocked by our granite choices and were telling us how ugly it's going to be. And I will say the ladies were right. I put in some wild granite.
Paul, do you see what I was saying though?
Yeah.
About,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
but the footage is already there. I'm just telling you the footage is there.
Footage is there. I think Corey, I think the trickiest part is going back and filming that final piece. Is that correct or no?
No. All that footage
Yeah,
is there.
yeah,
Everything is shot like we're doing a flip show. We
Okay.
just never take the 4 times we're at the property and merge them into one video.
But they're all, Ryan. They're all in a folder.
They're all
in a folder.
We just need to take some action and get the,
Okay.
yeah.
that
So
full video
but
out.
there's a ton. In that first vlog video, that video might be 15 minutes long, but it might only have 5 relevant minutes of the planning and what we're planning on doing. The original video of us cleaning out a house, whenever we get one that's really bad, has a ton of great B-roll footage. You know what I mean? The trick is shooting it from the same spot that you shot it from. You get what I mean? Like I shot from right here and saw how dirty it was. Now I come back and shoot that pan of it after. You get what I mean? Like standing in the exact same spot, doing the exact same pan. That's the stuff that we need to do because we don't necessarily shoot it like that.
Neurogum. Make sure you buy some on our TikTok shop.
It is good. It is good.
It's not in
stuff.
here. It's in the room. I'm just saying.
Oh.
It's sponsored by
I bought fucking Cracker Jacks.
Cracker Jacks. Breakfast of Champions.
Zens. So, anyways, I think we got okay. I'll tell you one thing that happened over the last couple of weeks. We fucked up. We fucked up bad.
Clip it.
So, we settled one lawsuit, paid a guy $6,500 to leave a property that we bought for $23,000. Then we sold it for $123,000. Took probably 3 years to make it through the court system before he finally took our settlement offer when it looked like he couldn't win. Okay. We're in another lawsuit on 125 acres where the government has a list pendants on it and is trying to seize it. We got to wait for that to go through the court system. Should wrap up in this spring. We got another one where a guy from Utah has stolen a property from us. That's pretty wild. So we're obviously heavily invested in that because we have lost our property to a guy in Utah and having to sue to get it back. Wild story. Probably need to do videos on all of these different things.
Mm-hmm.
But we had one that was kind of, and we're in another one in an area. We're not in a lawsuit yet, but we might end up there with some heirs that I think we have a settlement agreement on. But hopefully, it don't go that far. Everybody's amicable. Everything's going good there. And anyways, in all these emails, things get confused. But the very last one is a lot. We bought a single lot for $7,500. Okay. And we bought this thing 3 years ago. Guy bought it. His mom bought it contract for deed. So that's a transaction that doesn't get done anymore. But at the time it was legal. Bought it contract for deed. Had all the paperwork, everything. So he's got some good arguments that his mom died and the property's his, but he hadn't been paying the property taxes. The person that was on the record of title sold it to us. We didn't know anything about this contract for deed, knew nothing about it. We're a good faith purchaser in this scenario. And then we go there and realize it's not a lot. It's got a mobile home on it. And I don't know who owns a mobile home. Kind of irrelevant in this conversation. So we end up in a lawsuit with this guy when we go to evict him. And it kind of falls through the cracks. And we've been paying for this lawsuit for 3 years on a $7,500 lot. Now tell me what would be more wise. Letting this lot go and dropping the lawsuit, not paying a lawyer tens of thousands of dollars to defend your title, or paying a lawyer tens of thousands of dollars to defend the title and winning a $7,500 lot.
7,500, spending 10,000. It's called sunk cost.
Yeah. So we've accidentally stayed in this lawsuit. And when we finally realized that, when it was our attorney went to court for like a pretrial hearing or something, filed for a motion of summary judgment. So filed that. Judge didn't make a decision on it then. They had to come in for a pretrial hearing. He announced his decision for motion of summary judgment and gave us the motion for summary judgment. The judge awarded us the property, essentially. This guy's about to put up a $10,000 bond to go to the appeals court, which means if he loses there, we get 10 grand. But, like, why not just give us the 10 grand and take your lot? You know what I mean? Like, we don't want this thing. Just pay us the 10 grand and go away. Because if you lose in the appeals court, now you got to appeal it to the Texas Supreme Court. Texas Supreme Court probably won't take the case.
Study some economics, bro.
Maybe, but I'm shocked we're still in this lawsuit. We would have walked away forever ago, probably, had we known we were still in it. But now we've won. We might get a $10,000 bond. But after all this thing settles out, we've got a guy that has been living at a property that his mom lived at, that they thought they owned, that we're going to have to go evict in the event we win all this. That's going to be a spicy eviction. Like a super spicy eviction. Could you imagine? Like all the things that I've just told you this guy's going through, and we don't even want to be in this thing. We want to be out of it. Like, just pay us 10 grand, take your lot, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, why are we doing this? You know what I mean? Why are you throwing money at an attorney instead of
just paying us off?
Just settling with us, paying us off. And you know what I mean? The lady that sold it to us is ultimately the person you're going to end up with a judgment. If you win this lawsuit, you're only going to end up with a judgment against this lady. You're not really going to end up with the property. I don't think. Maybe you could. I guess anything could happen, but it's a silly thing to be in. But that's going to be a spicy eviction. I think it will be ugly, and having to unseat this guy from his house.
Well, our dude,
I'm not happy about it.
Our dude from India has more.
Okay.
He's like, do you use private investors for buying properties? And how do you negotiate the interest and payments? Banks are a pain. Realize it's after building 2 houses and renovating them.
We use private investors. The interest rate, we have different people. So some people want more long-term, steady income. So like we have some people that give us money at 8% interest only, and they finance rentals for us. So we'll put in basically what an interest-only payment is 100% of the payment is interest. So you're not getting any principal pay down. So if you got a property that's got a lot of equity, it's great to put an interest-only payment on it because you don't need the principal pay down to get your equity. And then you get to deduct 100% of the payment because it's all interest. So like we have an RV park that we only owe like 20 grand on. It was a 10-year loan, so we don't owe very much on it. Most of that payment is principal. So even though it costs us $1,400 a month every month, we only get to write off a very tiny sliver of that payment because it's interest. The rest of it, we still have to pay taxes on that income. So we like interest only payments, but they do long term, which long term is 3 to 5 years. And then the short term interest, like we're using it for a flip or something, 12% interest only. We pay 2 points origination, just a really basic deal. Those interest rates haven't gone up for us, even though interest has gone up. None of the private money people have asked for more interest. We've been paying all of our private money people for the last 10 years. So they're all extremely happy. And most of the time it's short term, but some of it's turned into long term. It's really became it's like we've got tenants in tons of stuff short term, interest only, 12% interest loans because stuff's not selling. So you put a tenant in there to float the carrying cost.
Back to your lot, could you build something on there to recoup it? Like an old age home or an older homeless peeps and make millions?
It's a mobile home lot. We could put a mobile home on it. It's already got a mobile home on it. I don't know who owns the mobile home. I don't know if it was a part of the original transaction. I don't know if it'll be part of the eviction. And then mobile home evictions are not complicated, but expensive because you got to pay somebody to move it to a storage area, store it, lean it, and then you can hopefully sell it, but it's going to cost more to move it to the storage than you could probably get for it. You know what I mean? Because it costs you $5,000 to get it moved to storage, which you're storing it on a property that you own, so you can charge him storage essentially for every day you don't come get it, and then get the title to it when he doesn't pay. That's expensive. You're not going to get your money. I mean, maybe you do, but these are old shitty mobile homes.
Yeah. Well, it's 5:10ish, and we got an event.
Yeah, we got an
6-ish.
event 6:00.
So,
Come out, 1900 JL Drive,
yeah.
Richardson, Texas. Come be a part of it. We're gonna do live calls. I appreciate all the support. How long did we go?
Like an hour.
An hour.
Hour and 20.
Oh
Hey.
yeah, we beat Trump.
Do you know how to end it, Paul?
Paul, hit an
Sure.
end button, buddy.
There's an end button somewhere.
Hit it.
I think maybe this end stream here.
There you
That
go.
one.
Okay.
Hit it. Later, fellas.
There you go.